Welcome back. We are on the high wall of Lothric, and we are looking down at the game world.
It's so pretty.
Did this back at the start of the LP, so we're going to look over everywhere we've been now that we've been there.
And once again, folks, this is Level 0 Badger.
Welcome back again. So, there's the Cathedral of the Deep. There's Farinkeep and Crucifixion Woods. The Undead Settlement. There's that bridge. There's the Catacombs of Carthus, and off in the distance, just peeking out of the clouds, is Anor Londo.
It is a bit of a pity that we can't quite see it from here, but at the same time, it's a nice reveal when you're playing to just be like, wait, I remember these archers. This place looks familiar. Oh god, no! Anyways,
That pausing we just saw is going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. The high wall and the upper high wall in particular are really hell in my system, so there's going to be a lot of juddering and stuff like that.
My condolences.
So, way back at the start of the LP, Emma gave us the thing that lets us go from the high wall to the undead settlement. And now she's dying.
Prince Lothric is in your hands. Please save his soul. Tell him what he must be, a law.
Blarg, I am dead.
Now, the fortunate thing, I guess I would say, is that you can kill Emma at any time, even at the start of the game. But doing so is not the greatest idea.
Yeah, normally just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Especially when it comes to Dark Souls.
See, when you kill Emma, this happens. You're actually supposed to be yoinked away from the third Lord of Cinders straight here after you kill them. But it doesn't always trigger, and I'm not sure what does trigger it. Cinders might actually deactivate it entirely.
Oh.
So if you're really good, you can fight the Dancer of the Boreal Valley, a mid to late game boss, as soon as you get to the high wall.
I think something like that happened to me when I played. All I remember is the frickin' Dancer being just... I have no words at the moment.
Yeah, the Dancer is an extremely dangerous boss. That's why I'm keeping distance away from her. Because you saw what she did with one swipe of her sword, and she swings a lot.
I'm surprised Solaire's still alive through this.
Solaire has a lot of health and a lot of poise.
He looked...
I tried to set the cathedral. Go ahead.
I was about to say, he didn't look content that she was dead.
Solaire does that a lot. I tried to set the cathedral on fire, but for some reason it wouldn't catch. So I had to give up after a minute of trying. So that's what that cut was.
You know, I want to say that this game was, when it comes to some of the imagery and such, it kind of follows the Neon Genesis notion where this really doesn't have a greater meaning. We just thought this kind of, looked pretty and was a nice, conjigger to go with.
You know, I don't think you're wrong there sometimes. So some of the things in this game, it really is just style over function.
So you were gonna say something.
I don't remember what it was.
Sorry about that.
It wasn't important. Nah, you fine. So even though we just left a bonfire, there was one up here because it's the primary checkpoint for the upper wall of Lothric. Yeah, I guess Lothric Castle, or whatever you want to call it.
That makes sense. You wouldn't want to keep on climbing up that damn ladder.
And actually, this bonfire did not used to be here in earlier versions of Cinders. There used to be enemies in this room.
Quality of life of my favorite kind of mods.
Instead, the bonfire was just through this door and through this hallway, so it's kind of weird they switched the two rooms around. But I guess it's also kind of a dick move, making you fight a bunch of hard enemies after you kill the dancer.
Yeah, but that's on point for Dark Souls.
It's very true. And the Lothric Castle and the Consume King's Garden are where you can start finding Titanite chunks in the game.
Though, I don't think that applies too much to Cinders.
You'd be surprised. There's a thing you can equip that lets you find, like, Titanite shards throughout the game, and it very rarely gives you large shards and chunks. But you're not going to be able to find chunks until the game lets you find chunks, which is kind of weird for Cinders especially. Because this shotgun, I think, is now, like, plus 10. Like, it got maxed out, then it got super maxed out. It cannot be upgraded anymore. That's kind of weird. Anyway, the Consume King's Garden is this way. And over here on the left, you can actually see part of the high wall of Lothric. The lower wall. Because if you look in the right spot, you can look down into this area from over there. It's kind of neat, you can see a future area.
Oh yeah, no, it's... I don't want to risk repeating myself, but it's a nice feature.
Go ahead and say it. Positivity, like I said, is much better than negativity.
It's an aspect that I would like to see explored in other games. I want to say it was back in Half-Life 2 while you were going down the coast in the buggy. There's a few spots where you can see further down where you were going, and it really gave you a sense of progress or well, honestly, in a few spots, foreboding.
Continuity of sections is something that most games do not do, and it's really nice when they are included.
Ah, there you go. That's a nice word to use there, continuity.
Now, in Vanilla, this area used to be filled with those pus of man enemies. That's the only one down here for some reason. So that's a case of Cinders making an area easier.
So it looked like you equipped something and ended up filling up some gauges. What was the deal with that?
That was a shield that improves my poison and toxic resistance.
Oh yeah, no, I remember how that looked from the first one.
Because this area used to be a toxic swamp. It was the second one in the game. Then it turns out I was wrong. It's not a toxic swamp. It's a cursed swamp.
Oh yeah. That's hilarious.
So Cinders giveth and Cinders taketh away. This is an extremely short area, but it's a dickish area.
And let's see, curse, is that the thing that, like, as it procs, your max health gets decreased?
Yes. in Dark Souls 1, Curse instantly kills you when it affects you, it petrifies you, and it sets your health at half. I think in 3 it just instantly kills you. Knock on wood, I've never actually been cursed in 3.
Didn't the, whatchamacallit, basilisks from the first one curse you?
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, that was a basilisk corpse we just walked right past.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that area in the first Dark Souls, because those enemies just... I don't want to say adored them, but they're really freaking neat, and it blew my mind when they're like, oh yeah, no, they're realized they're really tiny, and underneath their crepuscular extrusions.
So I don't want to cut you off there, but I do want to ask, how much of Dark Souls 2 did you play?
See, that's the thing, is I don't remember Dark Souls 2. I remember more about Dark Souls 1, and I want to say that's probably because, you know, you always remember your first fondly. And for some reason, playing or watching you play Dark Souls 3, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this part, So for some reason, I've walked out a lot of Dark Souls 2.
There's a very specific reason I ask, and we're going to see that reason in just a second. But there is a Dark Souls 2 callback here in the Consumed King's Garden. In fact, we've already seen him on screen. He's about to come over and say hello. There he is.
It'll hit me a second, I'll probably just,
So in Dark Souls 2, there's a mid to late game boss called the Looking Glass Knight. He has a giant shield, and he summons enemies in the fight to assist him.
Wait a second. Son of a bitch. That's why I'm not really remembering much of Dark Souls 2. It's because now I distinctly remember disliking that guy so much. Like, I want to say I wasn't even playing online at that time. And it's just the whole fight himself, him being such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that sounds like the Looking Glass Knight.
And I want to say that that's just the general feel of most of Dark Souls 2 to me. It's like, I not that I disliked it, it's just that it was such a difficult experience for me that I'm just like, don't have anything good to recall about it, so there's nothing for me to recall about it.
See, I really like Dark Souls 2. It's actually one of my favorite games.
Yeah, more power to you there.
I like, I've mentioned it before, but I like the punch fists. The cestises? Cestai? I don't know how you pronounce that.
I'd look it up, but I'm lazy. So, who's this asshole?
I don't know, but he's, kind of a jerk. He's deliberately casting that sorcery spell and then running into us so they fire.
I mean, use what you got, right?
I guess so. And somehow Solaire died.
I don't know, can your companions be cursed?
That's what I assume happened. And that's the actual Moonlight Greatsword that he dropped. Just randomly here.
Nifty.
I think in the base game you had to make that with a boss soul of some sort.
Probably. I do remember the, I don't know, I guess you can call it equipment progression in 3 being pretty intriguing. And with
Weird and annoying would be the way I'd put it.
Well, with Dark Souls 1, it seemed fairly straightforward. You get boss souls, you craft new stuff, you just get the Titanite chunks and pieces, and you go from there. But this one was a bit more involved.
About 5 or so minutes back, we actually picked up a pair of claws. Those stand out because those are the only claws that I'm aware of in the game. So if you want to make a character that uses them, you have to either kill the dancer early and come here, or you have to go through, 3/4 of the game before you can use your weapon of choice. Vanilla was not great in that respect.
It's a give or take. It probably would have been, a better idea to include that, well, not that actual weapon, but another call weapon earlier in the game, so you can get yourself started with that.
Cinders just lets you straight up buy that claw weapon from the start. Because it's not really game-breaking to have, a basic claw weapon.
Your buddy there seems really in love with that frickin' wall.
He does that sometimes.
I think he's just trying to get into position so he can use his bow.
I don't think Ferald has a bow. I think he's just... His AI is so messed up right now. Because that's not a Silver Knight, that's a Lothric Knight. Oh, he was trying to attack that thing.
Yeah, my mistake. I thought it was a Silver Knight.
It's fair. I mean, it's a dude in armor. You seen one, you seen them all.
Yeah, when watching the recording, you can't get a nice view on it. Oh, he has a big sword.
Yeah. In earlier versions of Cinders, this is where the Looking Glass Knight used to be. So you had to fight a really dangerous mini-boss in really cramped quarters.
Yeah, the more I watch this and the more I listen to you about this, it almost seems like a shitty ROM hack.
There are parts of it that are like that, yeah. Some parts of it I agree with, some parts I really like, some parts are weird.
And I'm fine with weird. Weird's a nice break from reality.
Mercifully, the Looking Glass Knight does not come back when you kill him.
That's definitely a nice thing.
So we pretty much have a straight shot to the boss. The boss is Oceiros, the Consumed King.
Now, we're talking about the consumption here. Is this actually tuberculosis or something else?
It's not tuberculosis. I'm not quite sure what he's consumed with, besides probably his work. I think I've seen like a lore video saying that he used to be a human king. He's not quite human anymore.
So he's just a salary man then.
I'm not even sure he's that. I think he's consumed with madness more than anything else.
We'll get some insight into that once we go kick his ass.
There's Hawkwood. Haven't seen him for a long time.
Well, with a title like that, it's not surprising.
He was a deserter from the Abyss Watchers.
Wasn't that the, oh god, the dude with the dog, the first one?
Yeah, they learned to fight from Artorias. Or they're trying to emulate his style. So, this is Oceiros.
Ooh, a cutscene.
Or I guess Oceiros. They never say.
I'm not gonna worry about it. My pronunciation of things is just terrible.
You ignorant slaves. Finally taken notice, have you? Of the power of my beloved Ocelot, child of dragons.
So the lore video I saw on this suggests that Oceiros here used to be a human, but he looks an awful lot like Seath the Scaleless now.
You know, that's something that was coming to mind there. And I don't know if Seath was originally a dragon. I want to say he was.
I think he was.
Which would make sense if he was like consumed with studying or his work, like you said. Then
Come out. Don't be
you know, ending up as some sort of dragon-ass looking motherfucker.
And he just spiked his baby into the ground.
Yeah, that crystal stuff that he just threw down there, that's definite reminiscent of Seath.
You know, you don't see a baby in his hands, but you can hear Ocelot crying throughout the fight. So you have to assume the baby's there. But one of his attacks is just spiking the baby straight into the damn ground.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's a good use of a child.
Damn.
Too much?
Damn. So Oceiros there can really fuck you up if you let him.
Yeah. I mean, this seems still challenging despite, you know, the gun mod and just being able to wail on shit and do a decent chunk of damage.
And I haven't been, like, I've been saying it through the entire LP, but I have not been neglecting my health like most other Dark Souls players, so I have a lot of it, and he chunked it.
Yeah, and that was just from one hit. That's a little scary.
So these corpses are from Archdragon Peak, which gives credence to the idea that he was studying dragons. Because these are dragonkin.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about leaving out some details about the lore of... We actually talked about that, how you can get conflicting stories. It allows things to just be understood by the player on their own terms.
Now, this is actually a change from Vanilla. In Vanilla, back here at the very back of this chamber used to be a way into an optional area. That portal has been removed. Instead, there is a sequence break here. Well, I say sequence break, it's a shortcut.
You did mention something about an optional area.
The shortcut takes you to Archdragon Peak.
Hey, I remember this.
And so that's something that Cinders added, but it does give you the kind of the idea that, you know, Oceiros was taking subjects from Archdragon Peak and studying them so he could become a better dragon himself.
And we see how that worked out for him.
He completely lost his damn mind.
And I think he was blind, too.
That would not surprise me, because Seath was blind.
Yeah, because I want to say... it just happened, I can't remember it. That he was saying, you know, come out and fight me, and, you know, you're in the middle of battle. It's like, dude, I'm right here. And, well, that is kind of a classic trope as well.
I'm not sure if I want to do Archdragon Peak next, or continue with the High Wall, or not. Because Archdragon Peak is entirely an optional area. I'm just going to the first bonfire.
Well, I mean, you know the criteria if you want to do stuff, but getting optional stuff out of the way is great if you can, provide decent commentary for it. So effectively, not this. But shh.
I think we're doing fine.
I tend to focus on negativity towards myself rather than the game I'm playing.
You know what? I think I will do the Archdragon Peak next. First, I'm going to go to that optional area that you could have accessed from Oceiros' room in the base game. Because the ring I've been waiting the entire LP to show off is from that area.
Yeah, makes sense.
But for now, that's the end of this area. And that's the end of this series of videos.
Well, awesome. This has been fun.
Thank you for coming along.
Oh, you're welcome, dude.
Especially on such short notice.
Yeah, well, we got a little bit lucky about that, but considering the time frame we have to work with, I think I'll be available in the future for other ventures.
Alright, I'll keep you in mind.
Awesome possum.
See you guys next time for, I guess it's, shit, what is that area called? Yeah, whatever. We'll see you guys next time. Bye,
All right.
folks.
Take care, guys.